Hello there, Leo, and welcome to your monthly forecast. This is for the month of August. I'd like to start off by giving you what I hope is some good news. We are returning to the old format. This is based completely on all of the feedback that I received last month. As you know, I was trying something new where I wanted to try to deliver messages both on YouTube and also on Instagram TV, but the format was too short for many of you, and I was just trying to give a more concise download. But I understand loud and clear. You guys let me know that you like the imagery in the cards, you like the extra messages that you receive when you see them, and you just really enjoy the longer format. So I'm bringing it back, and I'll probably leave it this way. From time to time, I like to either add or remove elements of this. That's how it became an expanded forecast looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Experimentation is part of the process. So thank you for allowing me to try something new last month. Sorry it didn't resonate for many of you. On a contrasting note, I was relieved that many of you have enjoyed the intuitive development series that I've been doing, and I hope to continue with that, doing additional installments. I talked about a crystal video. I'd like to do a Q&A, and I'll continue to add to that as time allows. And on top of all of this, I'm hoping in the months and weeks and months to come, I should say, to also start reviewing decks, because I know a lot of you have asked questions monthly, almost like, what is this deck? What is this deck? So I'd like to sort of like once and for all over the course of maybe the next year, go through the different types of decks that I use, give some recommendations on good ones, and also maybe ones to avoid. And I think that would be very useful for all of you. So all of this being said, if you like what you're seeing here, and you're happy that this old format came back, just realize it's a lot of production work. So it would be a great time, if you feel guided to do so, if the budget allows, to consider supporting the channel. So as little as $1 goes a long way, and you can also do a continual $1 donation if that's something you like. If you don't have the budget, if you prefer to just sort of keep this free but want to support the channel, then you can also like, subscribe, and share this with others so that I can kind of grow the footprint of the channel. All of these things help support it, and you can do whatever feels best to you. So with all of that being said, why don't we now look at the forecast? I start every month with a meditation, and I choose the deck of cards that I'm going to use for your sign, then I see what comes through. As I was meditating on your sign this month, and I started my automatic writing, what came through for me was this message. It's important for you to get back to basics. And when I say that, I mean what really makes you happy and what really makes you feel like you're not just sort of working on something productive, but your purpose. So fulfillment would be the main thing. Do you feel like your job, the activities that you're engaged in, the people that you're surrounding yourself with, that these things, these energetic sort of connections around you are bringing you a sense of joy, fulfillment, and that you're doing something on a higher sort of plane. So if that's happening, great. If not, then it's time to reset. What happens often for all of us is that we can kind of get into the day-to-day routine, and sometimes, years can go by and you wonder, wait a second, how exactly did I get here? It's kind of like when for those of you that are in a big city like I am, and you drive, and it might be like a 45-minute commute, there can be times when you're driving when you think, wait, where did I just come from, or where am I going to? Because you kind of get into a meditative state as you're driving for that long amount of time. It happens in life too, where you might be in a job for 4 years, in a relationship for 10 years, and suddenly you've lost yourself or you've lost purpose. And so what I want you to do this month through your meditation, through just listening today and seeing what the cards show, is to sort of get back to, wait a second, am I where I want to be? Am I still doing this, and this, and sort of re-gauge your purpose, okay? Let's get to the cards. I know you've been waiting, so I'm gonna give it a good shuffle, and we'll take a look and see what comes through. And as you know, each time I do this, I like to remain quiet. It gives both of us a chance to just observe. Okay, we had a few volunteers here, but this one came first. In addition to what I've just pulled here, I also like to add an additional card that I call the Catalyst. And to me, this card gives you a little bit of a connection between everything, and also a way to either solve a problem that's shown or maximize the opportunities of the month. Okay, you have two. I'm going to observe that. So we have a couple here. Let me go ahead and pull the camera up for a second and talk about these two cards. The first card that came through was the Crow. The Crow was reversed, but I'm going to turn it upright so we can just see it a little bit easier here. And for me, this is a messenger of transformation and a symbol of change as well. So what you want to pay attention to are all of the little signs, symbols, and indications that are going on in your life that it may either be time to make a change, or it might be time for you to reconsider how happy you are with certain things in your life, like I said earlier. And the other thing that I'm seeing with this is it's a reminder that you are in control of your destiny. You see the Crow here sitting on top of this crystal ball. This is your chance to take ownership and take responsibility for your future and listen to yourself. And that's really what the Crow symbolizes for me. The second card that appeared today was this Fire Ant card. And for me, this is showing that there is an ability for you this month to really get a group consensus behind you. So if you are in a place where you're trying to maybe litigate or get a final decision on something, what I'm seeing with all of this activity here is that is within grasp. The other thing that I'm looking at as I see this, however, is you want to try to remain as calm as possible. There's a chance this month that there could be an event that happens where it shakes you up a little bit. Think of someone like walking near an anthill and everything goes crazy, and the fire ants are not a sort of species of ant that you really want to attack you. So what you want to do this month is try to keep your cool, keep your calm. Don't let one sort of like person in your life pushing your button completely take you off your path. You want to stay focused, you want to stay strong in your intention, and try to be neutral when it comes to any sort of conflicts that are coming through. Instead of taking on the fight by yourself, why not try to get the group behind you, just like that card is showing. Now let's take a look at the rest of the cards here and see how those messages tie in. Right here at the center, we have two interesting cards. We have the Six of Wands, which really speaks nicely to that group consensus card that we just showed. This happens whenever you really have the ability to pull people into your court, get behind you. On top of this, we have the Nine of Wands, a card that shows sometimes an impatience because you've been waiting so long for something to happen. What I want to start off first with is the Six of Wands. So this is by and large a very positive card. It's showing that if there's anything that you need to fight for this month, this could include like a legal case, it could just be trying to get someone to agree with you, whatever it is that you're trying to either win one or more people over with, this month the energy is supporting you. A lot of what you're putting out there is going to be received, so embrace that and accept it as well. You'll see sort of a willingness and a joy that's at the center of this card. So sometimes when something has been presented to you, you just have to say, okay, thank you, or I'm gonna give this a try. Don't get ahead of yourself, don't worry about it, and don't second guess why these people might be supporting you. You've done the work, you've opened up the channels, that's why it's there. There is one note, however, with this card. You don't want to give too much power to other people in your decision-making process. So sometimes it's not bad because this card is upright. If it were reversed, I would say this is definitely the case, but it still sits there when there's a lot of pressure on you. So what I want you to think about is, if the group is trying to get you to do one thing and you have another point of view, remember you have the power to sway opinions this month. You have to use your words, and we'll see that in a second here. And you have to be able to believe and convey your passion about that point of view. So don't buckle under peer pressure this month, basically. Fight for what you want. The Nine of Wands typically is a character that has like a bandage around their forehead. They've been through a lot. They're still fighting for what they care about. A lot of times it shows up when I see someone that's active in social justice or a lawyer or a cause that they care about. So this month, there may be something for you where you feel that sort of passion. Interesting that they put a scarecrow on this because it's showing overcoming fear and not giving in to sort of these false indications of something that might be, pushing you away or dangerous. A scarecrow is an illusion. So I want you to see through the illusions, sometimes the projections that you're creating yourself, and don't give in to fear. That's really what this Nine of Wands is saying. As we look at what's motivating you from the past, we have the Hermit card, which for me portends success this month because it usually shows someone who has done the research, who's thoughtful, who's introspective, who has a spiritual connection, who typically isn't someone who is going to step into the limelight. That, however, is going to be your challenge this month because everything is pointing you towards action. And that's what we see here in recent past, also really indicating what's going to be showing up around the first or second weeks of the month. Knight of Swords, speech, action, words, and writing. All of these things are going to bring things forward for you this month. And I get the word brave. Brave, not only from this sort of scarecrow image here, but when I looked at this, I just see a lot of power and strength in this. So I need you to trust yourself, be brave, and fight for what is important. Now, this month is all about making and breaking cycles for you. A lot of readers will see this and say someone from the past could be coming back. While that is true, and it may be true for you, what I see instead with this card is a chance for you to revisit cycles in your life. The reason a person may come back is because you haven't fully let go of the energy or the lesson associated with them. It's more about the pattern than the person. But I see it in a broader perspective as a chance for you to habitually shift things into a positive direction. So if you have old habits that aren't working, then you can create new ones that will enable you to be more successful, to be stronger, to be more sort of in that lens of what you wanted to be. And I said initially that you might be kind of going back to the basics or going back to your core vision or purpose on this planet this month. So that's what this card is really allowing you to do, is to take a moment, look and see, are there any sort of loops that are going on in your life where you're kind of stuck? Can you cut that and then move forward? And that's why we have the Knight of Swords leading into the Eight of Cups. As we move forward into the near future, we have the Justice card in reverse. It's not just about black and white this month. That's what I see with this. Don't be too quick to judge someone else. Look and see things from both perspectives. It's going to be somewhere in the middle this month. That's why it's not an upright Justice card. Some of you may look at a situation or a person in your life and think, I understand the motivation, but I still can't be with them in the future, or it's time now for us to part ways. That's okay. That's really what this card is about. And that also honors the main message, which was people come and go in your life to kind of teach lessons. Once that lesson is done, it's okay to graduate, to move on to something else. So if you are at a place where you're ready to step away from something, a job, a relationship, or anything, even an investment, that's okay. The energy is supporting you. And in fact, when it comes to money, we just mentioned investments, we have the Nine of Pentacles. I think that you are headed now onto a path of much more independence. So this may be for some of you deciding to take more of a role of responsibility, whether you own your own company or you work in another company, you want to just take on more. This month, that energy is supporting you. Also, I feel like some of you may have done some great work in saving, and this is a chance for you to take a look at that, celebrate a little bit, etc. If you're not there, this is about taking ownership and deciding, as we look at this top card, enough now with whatever hasn't allowed me to really revel in this abundance that wants to come my way. So this month, in your meditation practice, you could say, I'm ready for abundance in all forms, in love, in happiness, in money, in opportunity. Really feel it when you say it, and that will open up for you, and that's what that is about. But it ultimately is saying that there's a sort of a need for you to get back to your independence, financial independence this month. As I look at your environment card, we have a lot of nines this month, so it's a really good month for you to kind of shift through things. But anyway, we have the Nine of Cups. It's reversed, and there's a reminder whenever you see the Nine of Cups reversed to not overdo things. This is a card of extremes. It's also a card of luck and celebrations, so there may be something worth really being happy about this month, but try not to overdo anything, particularly when it comes to spending or drinking or eating. You want to kind of take all of these things and dial it down a couple notches, and you'll be in a good place. It's hard on your body. It may be hard on other people around you who might be struggling and going through other issues in their life. Try to see it from a more holistic point of view. There's some difficult decisions you're going to have to make this month. And as we look at hopes, fears, opportunities, that's really where you're going to have to sort of trust yourself. And with the Two of Swords, sometimes there's not a clear or easy answer. There may be loss for both people on any sort of decision path that you decide to take. Now, your outcome card is sort of this unshackling card here. We have the Devil card reverse, which is actually a good placement and a good, it's also good to have it reversed, I should say. So in the outcome showing that you're getting out of habits, it's a great thing. However, for some of you, this could be revealing a truth about yourself or a truth that's revealed about someone else in your life. And when that happens, there may be this initial feeling that you're just going to cast judgment or walk away. If it feels right, you'll have to maybe do that. But I want you to take a pause, really understand the ramifications, and then once you're comfortable in that, you can take that action. Only you are going to be the one that is able to say yes or no on some of these things. But what I see as we pull the camera down one more time is eventually you feeling free, you feeling unshackled, you feeling like you can move forward, because your two crowning cards are highly emotional. We have Eight of Cups and we have the Devil reversed. So I think one of the things that you'll be releasing this month is maybe just a feeling of guilt, frustration, shame, or something like that, a lower frequency emotion. Once you let go of that, then your independence comes through. That's really what's in the ego. So a lot of times I'll look at this for the outcome, but this month I actually see that what wants to come through is I can do this. And so some of you might be overcoming this feeling of, am I enough? Can I do this? Am I as good as other people? And these cards are showing me loud and clear, absolutely you are, but you have to overcome your own sort of self-doubt or people in your life that might be pushing you down, because the Devil card can also indicate toxic influences from a friend and family perspective. So if that's the case, then you know it's probably the time to step away, and it's never easy, but you'll know how to do it when the time is right. Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We'll take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Let's begin with your health card, which includes mind, body, and spirit. The message this month is what I was hitting on a moment ago here, which was to let go of any sort of guilt or doubt or frustration. I really think for many of you, that's what this Devil card indicates, that you may have felt that there was something in your life that this could be a parent putting guilt on you or a spouse putting guilt on you or a friend, that you just weren't allowed to do something that you knew you needed to do in your life. And it's interesting here, you can kind of see the hands and the things clawing at her thought process here, which happens sometimes. We have lower frequencies that can get into our head. So I want you this month to just think, enough, it's time, I'm ready, it's okay. And you can forgive yourself and let yourself move forward. This is going to quite literally help you with your anybody that might be suffering from migraines, TMJ, or clenching of the jaw, or anything that's sort of going on where you feel like you're just not yourself. So I want you to focus first on the emotions and what it is that you need to move through. Take a few deep breaths, let go. I've been talking to different signs this month and reminding them that I have a contract release video on YouTube and on my website. So take a look at that. It's free. It's a great way for you to let go of some people in your life that could be holding on to you. And even sort of letting go of old things that we might have done in a past life too. So focus on that, and it's going to really help you with all those sort of tension type things that I was talking about. For some of you, even holding at your neck and shoulders, etc. So focus on that. See if that makes a shift for you this month. Let's move along now to wealth. Knowing that wealth includes not just money, but your relationship with money. It can also be career opportunities in your life. So I have a world card here, and with wealth, this usually shows really large changes that can happen. And it can also mean thinking about how you're going to not just spend your money on yourself, but for some of you, this can be philanthropic goals or giving back to the community. But by and large, this can mean, for some of you, a change of investment, a change of income, so new job, or a decision that you want to do something different with your money. So getting back to motivations, because that's really what this month is all about for some of you. What are you motivated to do? Why are you working? Why are you working so hard? And basically, this is your chance now to reset that and think, does this make sense for me? Is this something that I want to do? Now let's take a look at love, knowing that love includes not just romantic relationships, but also all types of intimate relationships, friends, family, and otherwise. Your message for love this month is Energy flows where my intention goes. I really like it. It's simple, it rhymes, it's nice because of that. But when it comes to relationship, if you want to improve a relationship, there's a good chance that you can. If you hold on to the negative components of why it's not working, it's more likely than not going to sit and kind of like stagnate in that space. So I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of shades of gray, a lot of middle ground that you're going to have to kind of go across this month and realize maybe there are areas where you could have done better. Maybe there are areas where other people could have done better. But maybe in the future you can find a place where you're not judging so much and just allowing for each of you to be, and you might acknowledge that it's better for you to be without. And so pay attention. How much energy are you putting into relationships as well? There should be reciprocity. And you should be able to sort of think highly of the people around you. If there's no reciprocity, if you're just giving, if you're having a very hard time seeing someone as being beneficial in your life, reevaluate why they still are in your life, and also reevaluate your judgment of them and see if there's any room for improvement. And if not, maybe it's time to step away and focus on making room for new things, allowing new energy to flow in. But your intention, your judgment, your energy around that person is going to either feed it or starve it. And so particularly when you want people to kind of change, it's sort of like if there's a child or an animal in your life, if you pay attention to bad behaviors, that's a form of reinforcement and it doesn't help them. If you pay attention to the good behaviors and redirect undesirable sort of behaviors, then the energy moves towards, oh, well, wait, I'm getting a lot more praise for doing this, and they're kind of ignoring this. You can use that same logic across all relationships this month. Put the energy into what is growing, starve what isn't, and then you're going to create space for new and better things to come in. Let's take a look at your final card this month. It's Destiny. Destiny is something, at least in the context of this spread, that functions more as a GPS, which means if you like the path, stay on it, and if you don't, this is your chance to exercise free will and to change. So let's see what the card has to say, and let's see what your message is. Simply put, change of mind. I like this because this really is showing you what we saw back at the beginning with the crow here, that you, and it's almost the same energy in the card, interesting, that you have the ability to change simply by realizing that you have power, by reclaiming that power, and by changing your frequency or your direction. It's not an accident that in both of these cards we see all the colors or most of the colors present. It's because when you look at something from a full sort of bird's eye view, quite literally with this card, a bird's eye view, then you start to understand how you can play a more active role in your life, how you can change things, and also you may be able to let go of something that seemed like it was the only way before. So you have a chance now to do something unconventional this month. Let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about. As I said at the beginning, your channeled information was to get back to what makes you happy, what fulfills you, get back to basics, as I said it initially. And your two catalysts this month were, first of all, to take ownership of your own destiny again, to understand and pay attention to all the signs and symbols that have been pointing you in the direction that you should be headed. And part of that is getting sort of a bird's eye view of the situation. When we looked at that last card, which was to change your mind, you have the ability to do it this month, but you have to embrace it. Knowing that it's important for you not to get triggered. That will take you away from your ability to motivate people in your in the circle around you. So what I want you to focus on is really embracing, as we see here with the Six of Wands, the ability to shine this month, to get people to understand your point of view. You have a lot of group support, embrace it. Let them see that you've done the work that you've done so that in the future there'll be an opportunity for more recognition, love, and support. Just a sort of gentle nudge to move out of this phase of holding back. I think it's good that many of you have done internal work, research and development, making yourself stronger, but you can't always stay in that space of being a hermit. This is a month of taking action, using your words, using your thoughts, using your all of your sort of day-to-day actions to model what you're looking for in your life and to get people excited and passionate about what you want to do in your life. And this is a chance for you to make and break cycles, most importantly. And this month, for many of you, it's moving away from that sense of fear. And interesting that we saw the scarecrow here in the center, showing me that what is coming through for many of you could just be a sense of projection or an illusion. There may be a breakup for many of you this month, deciding to walk away from a loved one, a job, or a way of living. Some of you could decide to walk away from a habit in your life, some sort of an addiction that's no longer serving you. All of this is going to lead to what the true outcome is this month, which is independence and more abundance in your life. A general note to try not to overdo things or go to extremes. Knowing that some of the decisions that you have to face this month won't have an easy right versus wrong answer. You're going to have to do what is right for you, and sometimes that's not going to be what's easy for someone else. When we look at health, letting go of low frequency things, giving yourself permission to be happy. Whoever in your life has created that feeling that you can't, you shouldn't, you're not enough, know that coming from my perspective, you are enough, you can, you need that encouragement. So don't feel shackled by those thoughts or those past negative experiences that you might have had. Thinking bigger with your money. Quite literally, there might be more that can come through. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't undervalue yourself. And for some of you, you're going to have to take a leap of faith and try a new job or a new opportunity. For love, knowing that you can either starve or feed certain types of behaviors and energies in your life. Feed the positive, starve the negative. Don't be afraid to change your mind. It's a sign of strength, and it's also a sign that you've evolved and moved forward. So we don't have to stay stuck and in an old pattern. And just because we once thought something was a certain way, it doesn't mean it has to forever be that way. And that's something that we don't see enough of right now when you look at a lot of people in the world. They sort of stay rigid and closed off. Know that it's completely normal and okay for you to evolve and to change. So I hope that you got the guidance that you needed this month. If you ever need to talk, if there's a change going on in your life, if there's something difficult that you want to discuss, look below the video. There are 3 links. The first link is a way to get in touch with me and schedule an appointment. Feel free to look at the rates and availability, and if it works for you, you can schedule some time with me. I'd be happy to do that. We can also talk about spiritual development, something that I've been talking about a lot on my channel right now, so I'm happy to discuss it if you've felt this sort of awakening happening. If you just want to support the channel, at the very beginning, I alluded to how really helpful that is, and I want to underline that again. This is very much like NPR. It's viewer supported. I don't get a lot of support from YouTube, and so I make it because of all of the love, support, and donations that you guys give. So if you can, donate. If you can't, just support the channel, like, subscribe, and share. Also, join me across social media. The third link is a way to do that. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I also have a newsletter. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, do that as well. Now, with all of that out of the way, I want to end with some gratitude. Gratitude that you continue to work on yourselves. This is exactly what the planet needs right now, is strong people, spiritual people, awake people. And I want you to keep working on all of those things in your life and share your gifts and share your insights with others. This month, I'm taking more of a personal focus for each sign rather than an overarching message. And for you, it's that change is okay. And that the other big thing that I'm seeing here is not to be afraid and not to feel these feelings of guilt, of shame, of frustration. Whatever was going on in your friends, family, or community, or even culture that's making you feel maybe less than, I'm here to say you're equal or greater than. So I want to leave you with that thought. I want you to meditate on that this month, and I want you to shine as brightly as possible. That's the goal each and every month with each and every video. I wish you much love, much light, and I thank you so much for being a part of your own evolution. Take care. I'll see you again next month.